This On, Season 6, Episode 34, where we watch Shaq versus Season 2, Episode 4. And I'm Chris Lorenz, the Pod Master.
Hey, this is James. I've never lost to a lefty.
This is Brian, and it's called Who Put This On, but it should be called Who Made This Trash.
I'm Harrison, and I'm the Chi-Chi Rodriguez of this podcast.
You hear that? That's me blowing up your TV. This is Annabeth.
I'm Maxie Chestnut, and there is more to life than being bad at golf.
So if this is your first time listening, we watch a different reality show each week discussing a new detail for game that's good or bad. And last week we watched... Brian, what did we watch last week?
Damn, I do not remember.
Brian?
I want to say Ready to Love, but that's wrong.
No.
Pause
hold on. Hold on while I look this up on Twitter, our poll results. What do we watch this week, Harrison?
Shaquille O'Neal not only uses his athletic prowess to challenge high-profile athletes, but also his energy and charisma to compete beyond the athletic arena in non-sports challenges. To level the playing field, O'Neal will negotiate a handicap with his opponent and train with the coach prior to the challenge. That's Shaq versus 2010 on ABC.
All right. Last week, we watched Growing Belushi. Very memorable show. We thought it was terrible, and so did you. On our Twitter poll, I'd Who Put This On is also bottom third show. So we all agree that it's all out of our memories, and we can all move on.
The only time I've talked about that is to discourage people from watching it.
Well, there you go. Don't watch that show. Anyway, Shaq versus, which all our intros were a reference to at least a quote from this show. Max, what were the competitions this week?
Oh my god. So, season 1, you have 1 competition per show. Season 2, you have 2 competitions per show. So this week was Shaq versus his old frenemy, Charles Barkley, playing golf. And the other competition was Shaq and 5 randos versus Joey Chestnut in a 5-minute hot dog eating contest.
What did you think? Do you think he was going to win or lose when you started watching these, Max?
I thought he was definitely going to lose the hot dog contest before I learned he was one of 6 people on a team. I thought he was going to have a fighting chance against Mr. Barkley. How about yourself?
I definitely thought Shaq was going to lose both these challenges. They tee up this Charles Barkley thing. And Charles Barkley, this competition is really because at the time, 2010, there was a viral video of Charles Barkley's swing, which is still, I think, shown every time he plays golf, no matter what. And it's really weird and terrible. It's like, he stops halfway down his swing and it's bad. So that's why he's doing this golf thing. So maybe Shaq's got a chance with that's the golf swing, but they also made it teed up like Shaq's never played golf before, according to the show, which I don't know. You're not beating anyone if you've never played golf before. So I'm not sure how much I believe that.
Well, he's played golf before. He's a putt-putt master.
That's true, as I am the pod master.
But he has no clubs, and how can he find clubs that fit his huge body?
He tried to make a flex where he said that every time he goes golfing, he brings new clubs with him.
Except he's only been golfing once.
And he's never lost to a lefty.
all great comments. Gotta throw the shade.
Yeah. So, Charles Barkley competition's interesting. So, we've got 5 holes. They have a pro golfer on each team. They alternate shots. So, it's 1 amazing shot, 1 hot garbage shot from both of them. They're both terrible.
Yeah, this one, so in the food eating one, they have to negotiate a handicap. In the Barkley golf one, there's no real handicap. They're kind of both on the same level, which was interesting.
They're both so bad they needed to bring somebody else in. Is really what it comes down to.
They've been playing all day otherwise.
I don't know, all day.
I mean...
5 holes? It's going to take... I could do 5 holes.
I think it was very smart of whoever set this up to do what they did.
Yeah, I mean, for like a 10-minute segment, it was pretty good. Like it was compelling TV.
Yeah, I think like I might have said it while watching. Like I think this is a good format for a good comedic show storyline of golf because you get the alternate shot. So the pros are going to keep it moving along. They're you're going to get one good shot in there every other. And then the bad shots are good comedic relief, and you get to watch that, and then get on with it.
Yeah, I don't need to watch these people play golf for that long.
Right, like that's the thing. You're not coming to this show obviously like to watch a golf tournament, so you gotta like do something interesting. I think it's really interesting of the time too, and important to note that like Chuck or Charles Barkley has continued to play golf, and he's actually like pretty good. And so I was really struggling like watching him. Like, there's no way Shaq beats him. He's never golfed, but I had forgotten how bad Chuck was like 12 years ago. Like he plays in annual tournaments and things. Like he shoots reasonably good. He still has a bit of that hitch, that little bit of a stop on that downswing, which is super weird, but it's gotten better.
So in this, he plays lefty from the tee. Does he still play lefty?
No, he is not playing lefty anymore. Like once I'm like, whoa, he's going lefty. I'm like, all bets off the table. That guy, who knows?
Yeah,
it's so hard to do like both ways like that.
So is he naturally right, like swinging, but he was trying to like fix his problem by doing left?
Yeah, so this was a big thing, and it kind of like jogs the memory. Like I remember when Chuck was like trying to learn golf, and he had this problem, and like YouTube clips went viral, all this kind of stuff, right? And he was trying everything under the sun to get better. He hired like some of the best golf coaches in the world, like PGA Tour level golf coaches, all this stuff, and like nobody could fix his swing. It became like a thing. He would like go do anything to seek it out. I did not remember that he attempted to swing lefty. And went on this show swinging left. I don't know how many times he tried to play lefty, but that was super weird. Weirder that, though, is not committing fully to going lefty. Only for the driver, he would go lefty. And then every other club, he was swinging righty, which is very hard to do and mind-blowing.
It was really telling when the first shot Charles Barkley makes goes like 10 feet
Oh, yeah.
right next to the tee. And you're like, well, I guess Shaq really does have a chance when Shaq's shot goes 200 yards. And his shot goes 10.
Well, and there's that sequence when he's like training with the mentor, and the mentor tells him not to use a driver because he can't do the driver right.
Yeah, he's like, you're terrible. Just use a club you can hit.
And then the first shot he uses a driver and cannot hit it.
Is it possible this was a cover story for a real handicap?
I was wondering
Ooh.
that. I was wondering if like part of this, like, because it was weird, and this is one of my pet peeves we should unpack a little bit later. There's always these weird negotiations that happen, and like the handicapping of the system that goes into this whole versus thing, which, arguable. But in this case, like, there wasn't a lot of that as discussed.
Yeah.
And so I actually do wonder if like the producers were like, but what if like Chuck intentionally like plays bad and we get him to swing lefty off the tee?
But
That seems like what happened.
there is that viralness of his right-handed shot.
Oh yeah, no,
And
let's
he's
try his
trying,
right-handed shot, but like
He's trying to
he
distance
could at least hit
himself
the
from
ball
that.
right-handed.
I mean, but he's just
he
trying
was
to...
a regular golfer. Like, there's no way he's just like, you know what I mean? Like, he was able to play around at golf. Like, he should definitely be able to beat Shaq, no problem.
Well, I think we should go to like the tee up of the conversation between these two men that kind of like leads them into the golf thing. Because there's like a bit of a negotiation about like how many holes they're going to do. But also there's sort of like, there's a prize if Charles wins and there's a punishment if he loses. So if he wins, Shaq says he gets his plane for the weekend. And if he loses, he has to like run down the beach in a pink bikini. So like there's some stuff on the line. There's a reward and punishment, and also just like the shame of losing and being cursed by this swing. Like, I don't know if Charles would like intentionally throw it.
There's
I don't know.
definitely some banter going on here. And I'm not sure like either of them really cared that much who won. Like,
To be clear, I'm not saying that he threw it. I'm saying that it's part of the
Mm.
handicap that just didn't get aired. Was that part of the stipulation was he'll play left-handed off the driver.
I also kind of think that there's a little bit of pride with Charles. Like he really wants to like beat Shaq.
These guys
Like-
always want to beat each other. That's the best
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Like, they're frenemies.
Right. So like why would you change up anything just to do that? It's like, no, I'm gonna
I think Charles is really just trying to distance himself from that terrible swing.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that was a thing at the time.
At
but
the
like,
time,
I
he's
can tell
just-
you he does not do
Yeah,
that
I mean,
anymore.
like he's obviously gotten over that hump. But like at the time, I guarantee you he's trying to get over that. Like,
yeah.
So do you know how far this is away from like the video of the terrible swing? Like, is this like right in the same era?
Oh, I definitely don't recall, but like it's definitely after. Like his swing was always bad.
Mm-hmm.
They showed
and
a
it's gotten
clip of
better
the
in the recent.
of the swing
Yeah.
in this episode, but who knows?
Okay.
Also, one thing to note: this show is in 2010, but Shaq played basketball till 2011, so this is between a season.
Well, it was part of the premise of the show that like he was gonna challenge all these people in other sports is like a new way to kind of train for the upcoming basketball season.
Oh, was it?
Oh yeah.
I don't remember any marketing for this at all.
Well, and it was like, he's the champion of basketball. Is he also the champion of everything?
He's also not the champion of basketball right now. Let's be clear. He retires after the year after this. There's a reason why you retire.
Well,
I mean, he definitely is a champion though.
Yeah.
You can't
He's
take that from him.
Four-time NBA champion, many MVPs. Like
Probably Olympic gold medalist in there. I don't have the internet corner. We're man, Miss no Noah.
We need
But
Noah. Noah, bring it to us. Text it in.
I don't know. I really heard this famous song where like somebody beat him in basketball.
oh, was it a small blonde singer man?
I think you're right.
I think it was Justin Bieber,
Yeah,
Oh.
that's it.
right?
Yeah, he was so bad at like 2 points that he's notoriously bad for that. And I could easily see like anybody with a little bit of training going for it.
Yeah, I think that was early in his career, though.
Yeah.
I think he decided to not be bad at it at some point. And was actually good.
I'm just talking smack on Shaq now.
Yeah.
Start season 3. Let's go.
yeah.
Smack on Shaq.
Shaq, new episode of Shaq versus Brian in a podcast.
no, you should challenge Shaq on the TikTok. Shaq Smack.
Oh my god, if we got to do like dance battles and shit, like he's definitely gonna win.
Oh, yeah.
but it's
It'd be
gonna be fun
great.
as hell.
What
Nope.
if WWE hired him as a commentator for Shaq Down?
Oh,
Shaq Down sounds good.
I believe he's bid in the WWE. Like,
No shit.
I guess
I'm
so.
sure.
Like, why not?
That's incredible.
Has he done every sport?
I feel like there are a lot of these like pro sports players who, a couple of them a year like do a second career as like an MLB player or something. Like, didn't Michael Jordan do that or something?
he's the only one.
No,
No, I have another one.
Tebow.
Man, Max is crushing it.
Yo.
The non-sports guy. Yeah, hell yeah.
I fucking knew it.
Did Tebow even make it to the majors, though?
I think
Majors
so.
no. He played in like a minor league team.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh.
like, that doesn't count.
I mean,
Two
he
people
earned a salary playing baseball. That's a
Yeah.
professional baseball player.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
I mean, would you say Chuck is the most famous golfer who's also in another sport?
No,
Charles Barkley?
Yeah.
No.
no. Other people do that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a
Ev-
question. Has Charles rebranded himself as Chuck?
I think when he's hanging around Shaq, they like with the banter. There's a lot of the Shaq and Chuck, which is also like
Okay.
I've seen them on the the show on TNT, like NBA or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I don't know, NBA on TNT, something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's highly entertaining because it's just like Shaq and Chuck just arguing with each other and poking fun, like smacking each other around, challenging each other to random shit. It's great.
You guys ever try a $2 Chuck?
$2 Chuck. I don't know what that is. Go on.
It's
It's a cheap wine from Trader Joe's.
Oh,
So speaking of the banter, Charles Barkley tells Shaq that Shaq only loses on his show, so we should rename his show to Shaq Loses. And we watched the only episode, I think, of the whole series where he actually wins.
Oh my god, spoiler alert.
ooh, that was a big spoiler.
Is that true? Did you look that up?
I can confirm nor deny.
Oh no!
Here's the thing: it's also like near the end of season 2, so he had to have one coming.
A big
Like
win.
they even said, I don't know if they said that they insinuate he loses a lot.
Well, the ones on this episode, there's like obviously the golf one we've talked about. It seems like he's not playing like a professional. He's playing someone on the same level.
Yeah, the golf
then-
one, he definitely seemed to have a fair shake at.
And then Joey Chestnut, he stacks his team with 5 other people.
We haven't got to that, but yeah. I agree with you. It's
So I
it's
don't
a little
know.
ridiculous.
Okay, but counterpoint. Usually when you're like looking at handicap, like there was. We'll get into it later, but like it was a really close match. Like that's a good handicap.
Okay, should we talk about the rules for the food eating?
Sure, go ahead, give it to us.
Okay, well, Shaq meets Joey Chestnut at this like hotel, I guess, that they're staying at. And they have this like conversation where Shaq is like proposing like his handicaps that he wants Joey to have. He's like learning about eating hot dogs. He's like, "You're a small guy. I can do this, whatever." So he agrees with Joey that he will get 5 other people on his team. He leaves the hotel. He starts picking up people on the street. He's like, "Hey, are you going to be on my hot dog eating team?" People are like seeing Shaq. They're like, "Can I get like a picture, whatever?" He's like, "Yes, if you're on my hot dog eating team."
It was so good.
He collects 5 people, and then he gets to challenge Joey for a 5-minute hot dog eating tournament.
Yeah, it's a little unfair, I think, for 6 people to go against one person.
I mean, did you see the final score?
I know.
I think it
Tight.
was fair.
Yeah.
It was tight.
it was an even match. I think that instead of having more people, that Shaq should have had to eat those little cocktail sausages, and Joey Chestnut should have had to eat footlongs.
Oh, I like the footlong change up though.
Whoa.
I don't know about the cocktail size, but
I feel
Well,
like
it evens it out, man.
Where do you get the little hot dog buns?
Yeah, you get little tiny hot dog buns.
Like
Yeah.
little pigs in a blanket.
Yeah.
I mean, it
yeah,
could have
okay.
just been like each hot dog Shaq eats is worth like 4, and then that's it.
I mean,
Yeah.
could have been.
But what if you
But-
see Shaq's hands holding those little hot dogs?
Oh, so cute.
Brian.
I think that's
I
why
like
the
that.
footlong is a good adjustment for Chestnut. He has to step it up.
Ah.
One
We
footlong
also-
counts as one dog.
We didn't say also that Shaq got a mentor of another hot dog eating champion.
Eater
to-
X.
Yeah, Eater X.
Number
who show-
2. Number 2.
Who
in the
shows
world.
him how to eat 2 hot dogs at the same time, which is something Shaq does not do.
Well, importantly, you take the dogs out of the buns and you start eating the dogs. You get about halfway, and at the same time, with the other hand, you're dunking the buns in the cup of water and then washing down that hot dog with the bun, and then you finish off the dogs.
You know, if it's done masterfully, it's a beautiful thing.
Let me tell you, it never looked beautiful to me.
That bun juice.
How often do you think someone needs to get Heimlicked at that hot dog eating competition? Like, people must be choking all the time.
I don't think it's as often because like if you're going into like actually no, if you're going to one of the televised ones, you're not like you've got practice. If you're going to like your local one, yeah, there's gonna be a lot.
Like
You got-
the state fair.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
a disaster.
you have any like eating contest there, you have to have medics on call because everybody's gonna try to step up and then
Like-
pull their hammy metaphorically.
I'm sure
I
you got to
mean-
sign some kind of waiver, right?
Do you think these people signed a waiver?
Oh, they must have.
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
I mean, the thing is, like, the faster you eat hot dogs, the more dangerous it is, right? Because like you're shoving them down at an incredible
oh my
speed.
God.
But like any sport, the faster you go, the more risk reward.
No, exactly. But like, you might be flying down that ski jump, but if you crash,
The
Can you call this extreme hot dog eating?
Yes.
yes.
The
Yes.
problem is that like the buns, watery buns, sound
Oh.
fucking terrible.
Ugh.
Don't knock it till you try it.
It's gross.
It sounds
Oh.
so bad.
They definitely sound terrible, but like you are not processing this in your mouth in any way. Like
I'm
this
just-
is just like going straight to the throat.
I might gag just thinking about it. Like, it's
Yeah, that's
so
so
bad.
Watery
gross.
bun.
Chris, would you rather just a completely dry bun and a bunch of that also?
Oh. Man, also, yeah, trying to eat a bunch of dry buns with no water sounds like a nightmare too.
Don't worry though, they did provide a bowl of mustard so you can dip it in.
Yeah, that looked wild as well.
That's a wild choice. Like, oh, let me get the spicy thing. I gotta see ketchup, but not mustard.
Most people think putting ketchup on a hot dog is like
No, not most
It's
people.
terrible.
Chicagoans.
I mean, I feel like I feel like hot dog etiquette's kind of out the window at this point. We're shoving 2 at a time in.
When you're dunking the buns in a cup of water, I think it's all
But
it's
It's
off.
not a hot dog anymore.
But
Yeah.
Joey was just dipping the whole thing in. He wasn't.
Yeah.
He didn't do.
Mm.
He
You're
didn't
right.
do the double.
You're
Everybody
right.
has different techniques.
Well, at the time, he had the world. Did they say he was number 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was number one.
Yeah, he did 68 was his current record. The current record is still held by Joey Chestnut at 76 hot dogs in 10 minutes.
That's a
set
lot of
in
dogs.
2021.
Who's the Japanese Joey Chestnut?
Kobayashi, I think.
Yeah.
Kobayashi.
Yes.
That's right.
There's
But
a lot of
he's banned from competitive eating though because
Why?
I'm not 100% sure I'm going to get this wrong, but I think it's something like he participated in some kind of rogue competitive eating league that didn't get along.
What?
That's
Wait,
right.
it
the
was not
Nathan's
Nathan's.
people. Yeah,
Underground hot dog eating
Yeah.
competition.
Yes.
That sounds great.
It's not. It's just there's an official like Nathan's hot dog thing on July 4th or whatever has like its own competitions and has banned him because he didn't want to follow the like. There's like just something going on with them, but they're not the only. They're not the official. They're just like one of the leagues that's banned that guy.
I don't know, man. We need an internet corner on this one. I think.
I have another internet corner question, which is, who invented the hot dog?
Oh,
Like
Like in
Nathan.
general or the competition?
It's got to be
Both.
It's got to be like German or something, right? Some kind of sausage. Sausage King of Germany.
I don't really care.
man, Noah, we need you so bad.
We're lost.
So many
We don't know how to use
questions.
the internet.
We
No.
don't have the internet.
We gotta hook up Alexa to the podcast so we can ask her questions.
No. We already know this. Max, Google Home.
Yeah.
Shout out. Give me
Yeah.
Google Home.
Okay, Google, tell me who invented the hot dog. Yeah, and anyway, let's talk about the actual competition. These 6 people versus Joey Chestnut.
on a stage.
Yeah, so it was actually filmed pretty well, I thought. Like
Very
they
well.
went back and forth. The Shaq team seemed to be like doing better, but then obviously 6 random people aren't gonna like be able to eat hot dogs continuously for 5 minutes, like at a good pace.
Yeah.
So they're like, it kind of like they would just shove like four numbers would go up at once. But they made it pretty close. But at the end, Shaq's team won by 1.
It was really close. 1 minute left. It was 32-32. Then it was 32-34. Then 35-36.
35 hot dogs, 1 man, 5 minutes.
Unbelievable.
I gotta say, if this competition had gone on like any amount of time longer, Joey would have had him.
Yeah.
Because everyone was totally tapped out at the end of this.
10 minutes, Shaq loses 10 out of 10 times.
Oh, absolutely. No chance at all.
I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous to say because he ate 35 hot dogs, but do you think that Chestnut was going all out in this one?
I'm
I'm not sure if he was.
Yes,
he
he
was
was.
on pace.
He was
There would
on
have been
pace.
70
He was.
hot dogs
I know,
in 10
but
minutes.
but in my mind, like the first 5 minutes you have to be faster than the second 5 minutes because you're filling up. You gotta be slowing down.
You don't
So
know that.
So
I'm just saying.
there is an aspect of this thing where like the signals for fullness take a while to get to the brain. So like if you eat fast, like you can easily overeat because by the time you realize you're full, like you're already overeating.
Yeah.
You could just be warming up. It could be a warm up aspect.
Oh,
to
that
this.
could be. That could be.
So like it could be like the first minute and a half could be slower than the next 8 or whatever, and then the last minute might you're probably right. You're like this warm crap, this like watery bread in my mouth.
Man, what do you even do after that?
Puke.
Do you think so? Just immediately, or
No.
you try to digest 70 hot dogs?
That's mostly going through you. Like you cannot process that much.
70 hot dogs ain't going through that fast.
It's not going through that fast, but it's definitely not like being processed is the thing.
You got to get home immediately.
Yeah.
They
Well, I
gotta
think
have enough porta potties in the back there for you.
I think I read an article about like Joey Chestnut and what he does after the competition, and he would talk about going to the bar, but he would have to drink a lot. And he would get to hang out for a while. He would drink a ton of alcohol and then go to the hotel room and just be on the toilet for like a day. So that's kind of what I think happens.
Yeah, your body's really going on a ride after that journey. It's been.
It is only one day. Yeah. I mean, it's not
But
great.
it's
Not-
also wild, like, how much does 70 hot dogs weigh? I feel like that is, like, you were putting that in your body. You were suddenly, like, whatever, like,
70 hot dogs
you know,
heavier.
like, at least 20 pounds heavier immediately. Like, that's wild.
Have they ever weighed people before and after? I'm sure they have, but I
They
wanna say
must have.
After the
Sure.
contest, he being Joey Chestnut, said he starts sweating, and people have said it smells like hot dogs.
Oh, God.
That's also the other bad part, right? So it's like not only do you just feel gross, but you smell totally gross too.
Like
and
a
you can't
hot
get rid of
dog.
it.
it's a one-day sacrifice to be a champion.
You're really, I think you're going lightly on this 1 day thing. 24 hours of
Yeah.
smelling a hot dog.
How do you define a day?
I'm just saying, I feel like you're brushing this off to the side. That's a long time.
That's a long time for
it-
hot dogs to be moving through your body.
I think Brian should dress up as a hot dog for spring week.
We're all trying to figure out who did this. But no, like, yeah, he's eating at the thing. Like, it's always smelling like hot dogs and like fried food and stuff. Then you go to the bar, it's smelling like booze and stuff. Then you go to the hotel room, you're just dealing with your own self.
Like, that smell of hot dog that's coming off of him is the smell of victory for Joey Chestnut.
Exactly.
Like, people are like, that's the fucking guy that eats 75 hot dogs.
All right, so I got a Kobayashi update for you. He was in contract disputes with the Major League Eating competition. And so
the MLE.
So he wouldn't sign with the MLE. So MLE is the guy, the thing that does Nathan's. And then, so he wasn't allowed to be Nathan's anymore. And then he like rushed the stage at some point after he wouldn't sign this contract. And like, you know, he's not part of the MLE, and MLE will run the events. So it's like, it seems like he was banned
now, or
I mean, he's just like,
it's effective. He's not allowed to compete, but it's not
I
like
don't
he's
know
banned
how,
from
like-
the event.
like I think he might be banned because he ran the stage, but like,
It's pretty badass to be banned from a hot dog competition.
Oh, yeah.
but like he didn't want to sign
But
the
not win
contract.
it.
Like he didn't want to sign the contract anyway, so he can't be in the event. Like,
That's just a weird thing. Like, why would you rush the stage if, like, you just didn't agree with the contract?
Got to make a name for yourself. This is all you have.
Kobayashi was well known though.
How
Yeah.
many times do you watch a hot dog eating competition?
I have definitely watched it in the past, and I knew at that point it was between Joey Chestnut and Kobayashi.
I'm just saying, like, you got one opportunity generally.
No, like this is a yearly thing, and like
I know, a yearly thing. Once a year, there's an opportunity where people are willing to watch a hot dog eating competition. This is your one chance. You got to get on that TV any way you can.
well, you know, he made mistakes. Mistakes were made.
Why aren't there other televised eating competitions? I
This is
feel like,
gross.
I mean,
Because there's
What do you mean?
ESPN 8 isn't a real thing. That's why.
I remember
The
back
Ocho?
in the day, and I don't know if I'm remembering the name of this right, there was some kind of reality show called The Glutton Bowl, I think it is, and it was like a televised eating competition.
What?
And
Add it to the list.
oh yeah, we gotta add to the
Hang
list.
on.
And one key moment that I remember from this thing is they had a sushi eating competition, and they both had like a 100-foot long roll of sushi or something
No!
insane, and they had to chomp it. And they had a section in the middle that was a full foot of just wasabi, just
Oh.
solid as they were going through it.
And they had to eat a brick of wasabi?
Yeah, dude, it was terrible.
That was
I don't
gross.
believe this.
The Glutton Bowl
watch
is
it.
a 2-hour competitive eating special broadcast on Fox, sanctioned by the International Federation of Competitive Eating.
What year?
Different than the MLE.
2002.
2002. Okay.
2002.
MLE local.
Oh, there's some competition where they eat just bowls of mayo.
Oh,
no!
2011, he ate 23 Philly cheesesteaks.
Oh my god.
That's
How long?
so many.
How big were they? Like,
This is Kobayashi. or
It was at Dorney Park. No, this
Oh.
is Joey Chestnut.
oh yeah, I've been there. My parents'
this-
house is really
was-
close there.
Was this on the cheesesteak review tour?
No.
Hmm.
Dorney Park is an amusement park. It's
It's
not
a water park.
yeah.
Dorney
No,
Park.
that's Wildwater Kingdom.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Get it right, Max.
I'm right.
Can I share my Kobayashi fact?
Yeah.
Did you guys know that he competed against a real black bear once in a hot dog eating contest?
I did actually. I've heard of this. I don't remember who won though.
The bear won,
Oh, the
I
bear
believe.
won.
Really?
But would recommend. There's a video where he like comes out and the bear also comes out. The bear's like in a contained kind of like situation, so the bear can't get at anyone. But the bear like comes up to this like pound like huge mound of hot dogs, and they have these commentators who are like commenting on the food sport.
Yeah, what was
They're
the
like-
bear's technique?
They're like, Kobayashi's doing like the 2 dogs at a time. They're like, the bear is shoveling paws full of dogs in the mouth. We've never seen competitive eating like this. You're like,
Man.
yeah, it's a bear.
I really like the phrase
Amazing.
paws full of dogs.
Paws full of dogs.
During the pre-fight, did they have like a stare down where like the bear was in the cage, Kobayashi was like staring in?
I don't think
I-
a bear abides by a pre-fight stare down rule.
I don't know. At that point, like, there's a lot of problems that I see with this. Like, probably that like they're starving this bear a little bit. I don't know. They're at least putting it in captivity.
Is it
Yeah,
ethical to feed a bear only hot dogs?
I think it's not going to matter. I mean,
It's a
All
bear.
right, guys.
An
all right.
infinite amount of hot
I think
dog.
we've gone straight very far from the show at this point.
how
Yeah.
long do you think the bear had to sit on the
We're
toilet
done.
after the hot
Done
dog
with it. I'm
competition?
done with
Did the
this.
bear smell like hot dog
Done
sweat?
with it. Done. We're going back. We're going back to the worst part of the show, which is the hosts of this fucking show are so bad. They're just like they're fake golf announcers for the golf competition. 'Cause they're not fake, but they're
Well,
pretend-
they're not golf announcers.
Okay.
Is the point?
Okay. So they're pretending to be golf announcers. They're Mike Goldberg and Kit Hoover. Every time they're on the screen, I'm like, get off. Like anytime they're commentating, it's like repeating what I'm watching, and it's just annoying. It's not even bad, it's just annoying.
does anybody know if they were in other episodes?
We didn't watch any more
I mean,
episodes.
I think that they
Some of it.
usually have some kind of commentary. I mean, because that it kind of adds to the sports feel, I guess, to have like a commentator. You know, unlike some of the other competition shows we watch, but
I'll say I think it added to the part when the golf game was actually happening.
oh yeah,
When they were commenting on like what was actually happening live, but every other time until that point, it was so annoying to see
Yeah,
them.
like a pregame was terrible.
It was
terrible.
terrible.
Here's the thing: if they were able to match the energy of Shaq and Barkley, then it would have been entertaining. But they were just like phoning it in. I wasn't really impressed by them.
I liked the idea of there being announcers, like sort of as a tongue-in-cheek, haha, we are a competition show. Did these guys kill it? No, absolutely not.
You know who I want? If you guys have seen Holy Moly, Holy Moly has the announcer style that I think would be perfect for this show, where it's like one person being a real announcer and one person who's like a comedian, like, and it's also very funny and entertaining. That's what they need, but these people are not funny.
No, there's no humor in anything they're saying
No.
at all.
And it's just repetitive of what you can see.
I mean, I agree with you. I think the one guy also did, like, during the hot dog competition, there was, like, some announcer. I think that might have been the guy, Mike. Like, it was, like, during the competition, I didn't have a problem with that. They're, like, explaining some things that you can't necessarily see. Like, Charles went in the water at some point, and you're like, well, the camera work was terrible. So we didn't actually get to see it go in the water, which I guess we could talk about next. But, like, at that time, they're like, oh, it's nice to have, like, somebody tell us what's going on. But other than that, leave it out.
Yeah, they don't really add anything to, like, the sport.
No. We can talk about also the show filmed very poorly. So many shots were out of focus. Like, no, like, this is terrible. This is on ABC.
I was impressed that they got Caesar's Palace to sponsor this. They had like the whole like board like made up behind them, Caesar's Palace, Shaq versus, but they couldn't afford a good cameraman, and it was just wild.
I think it's more the fact that in 2010, cameras weren't as good.
It's not that; it was the
Eh.
tracking.
I mean, you could shoot stuff and have it be in focus.
No, you can't. No, obviously you can. It's just harder than it would be today with a modern camera.
Yeah,
Like, your iPhone camera is better than this camera, and it's easier to use than whatever this camera is.
sure.
It's not necessarily just like the camera, like the picture quality. It's all the equipment around it is like helping you like film this correctly.
No, yeah, I'm not saying that, like, the camera was bad. I'm just saying it was harder to use.
Yeah. Okay.
And they didn't, obviously get a great cameraman. Like, to your point.
Yeah. I just can't believe they messed it up so badly. Like the hot dog eating competition was okay, but that's all because they're just sitting there still. You just pan back and forth. Cool.
We also didn't get a really good shot of all 5 of them eating at once.
Well,
it
Shaq
was
had
all,
some good reactions, and that was money.
it was all just Shaq and Joey.
Yeah, Shaq was in awe of Joey's raw talent.
It was hilarious trying to watch them film the golf part though, because like usually you're watching a golf competition and like they'll hit the ball and the camera will like track the ball in the air, you'll see it flying and you'll see it like bouncing down the fairway. And in this case, like they can't catch the ball in the air, so like they kind of make it seem like it's sort of like it's like the ball will like already be landing on the green, and then they'll kind of swing the camera like it's like they were tracking it and like, oh, there's the ball.
Yeah, it was definitely worst golf like on TV.
There were multiple times where it's like Barkley hit the ball in the water on a shot, and there was no shot of the ball going in the water.
There was no shot of that ball away from the tee.
Yeah.
It was just
No.
It was just a shot of him on the tee and then nothing.
Or it's like the camera's swinging up and you see sky and you're like, is the ball in here?
No.
No.
It is not.
Fake out.
It's kind of like when you're watching football and you're watching the guy with the ball, and then he's looking at people to throw to. You can't see it. It's like, well, what am I watching here?
Oh man, I was waiting for Chris to bring out the football burn there.
Oh yeah,
It was good. I agree though. This was very poor golf coverage, if I've ever seen.
Does it make it feel real? Yes, it does.
It felt like they went out there and did some stuff.
It does feel like you're just out there. People are just doing the best they can. They're wandering around this golf course with Shaq and Charles.
I do want to know how the gallery showed up. Like, who did they invite to this thing? And just people start rolling in off the like country club in the streets. Like, it was very funny. There's probably like 50 to 100 people.
Is gallery the spectators?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I definitely appreciate the presentation, and like they really tried to show it like it's a competition or a sport. Like they've got graphics explaining the rules, they've got scoreboards, and they're not cutting away. They're showing every shot. They're really trying to show this stuff like it's a real sport, which
Honestly,
I appreciate.
There was a trophy too.
Yeah. There's a trophy that looked tiny in Shaq's hands.
What doesn't?
I wish he'd also won like a golden hot dog. There was no prize for hot dog round.
It's true.
Oh, but important minute detail. Shaq claimed, quote, he will never eat a hot dog again after that competition.
Check that, internet.
Somebody find it. There's got to be proof. He's definitely eating a hot dog.
So, internet corner about Mike Goldberg.
Ooh.
UFC champion.
Oh.
That guy's a UFC.
Wait, is this the
Really?
right Goldberg?
Commentator?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is that guy. Chris, have you seen his catchphrase?
No.
His catchphrase is, "It is all over."
It is all over? What?
According to
Is it over
Wikipedia,
for him or for this competitor? Like, who's it over for?
It is all over.
It is all over.
It's up for interpretation, so he's always right.
I'm just more concerned. Why would you say it like that? Just say it's all over. Like, let it roll off the tongue.
It is all over.
Because it's a catchphrase, Brian.
No, it's a garbage one. Like, put me in there. Like, pay me $20 million.
He's beating some people up in the octagon, dude. Leave him alone.
Okay, do we know who Kit is?
No, I didn't look at
Okay.
She's like a news anchor for Access
Oh.
Hollywood or something.
Okay.
There you go. That's so the host, do you think this is apex for the hosts or not?
Oof,
I don't think
do.
so.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Could this be an Apex if it's bad, though?
I mean, if it's the best thing that they've ever done, then it can be.
I mean, like, he's a UFC, like, he was in the UFC fighting. I mean, I feel like that's better than this, right?
Yeah.
Did he win anything in the UFC?
It doesn't seem like.
Oh!
I would still say that UFC is, even if you lose it, it's a bigger highlight just because the focus is on you and one other person.
I mean, that's true, but depending on how low on the card you were, there might have been less people watching his UFC fights than this show. So,
And
who
you
knows?
immediately get knocked out. You're like, well, I don't know. I'm making all this
That's
up.
fair. Like, I also don't know because I don't really pay for those things, but if you pay for the package, like, why wouldn't you try to watch the entire thing?
Well,
I
you could
think
be
he
so
would.
low on the card that you're in the free section. You're not even in the paper.
Oh, I didn't know there was even a free thing.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, there's the free before the main stuff even gets.
Ooh.
You don't want to be in that bucket.
Damn.
So there's also an interesting story on Wikipedia about him. So he did one NFL game as a play-by-play guy, and he kept referring to the coach Mike Zimmer as Don Zimmer. So that didn't go well for him.
So is that the apex?
No.
Yeah.
This might be his
If
apex.
it's an NFL game, that's probably the most people watching a thing that he did.
Yeah, but if you really embarrass yourself,
It's tough. I mean,
tough.
it's still the apex, but it's right down. It's
Into the falling action.
yeah.
I mean, he could have been like a Jets or Jaguars or like just some garbage game.
That's
know?
true.
That no one watches.
You say that, but it still, I bet you, blows away like UFC ratings.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
what team was Mike Zimmer the coach of?
The Minnesota.
You mean Don
Vikings.
Zimmer?
According to Wikipedia, the Vikings.
Okay.
Let's see. Who do you think the worst human being was in this show?
Wow. Difficult.
Ooh.
Difficult.
Yeah,
I don't know. Everyone's pretty cool.
Wow.
I think everyone's
Surprising.
cool.
Is it Mike Zimmer for being boring?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Mike Zimmer or Goldberg?
No, Mike Goldberg.
Mike Goldberg.
Yeah, I was like, wait a
that's
minute.
But Don Zimmer.
it. Don Zimmer. Is it Don Zimmer?
Oh,
No, it's Hans Zimmer.
I know who it is. It's not very bad, but it's the camera operator for not knowing how to focus.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
true.
you put him that.
Maybe.
That seems like a really hard job for just like your average reality TV cameraman, though.
To have one person in the frame have the focus be on their face? That doesn't seem that
Focus-
hard.
Okay.
I'm
you're
not
right.
even arguing about the golf coverage. That I
Okay.
can live with being
Okay.
bad. I'm just saying, when there's a close-up shot of just Shaq on the screen, you got to get that thing in focus. Come on.
Yes.
He's huge. Just get him in the focus.
That's why it was hard. Because he was too big.
Everything was big.
Like a normal person, you got this. Practice a lot of that. But Shaq, he's big. He's a big guy. You know, the frame's only so big.
So I hate to say it, but I think that Barkley might be the worst person on the show because he makes a bet and then he does not follow through on his end of the bet.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
not what a
Yeah,
gentleman
yeah.
would do.
I
I don't know.
You are totally right.
Yeah, Harrison, explain. I
Uh,
don't think we've told the
well,
listener.
so the bet, as we said earlier, is that if Barkley loses, he has to wear a pink Speedo and run down the beach. And so after he loses, Shaq hands him the Speedo, and Barkley goes, "I'm not wearing this," and throws it in the lake.
Do we even mention that he lost? That
I guess
Shaq
maybe
won?
not. Oh, Shaq won. Shaq won by drilling about a 30,
25
40
footer.
foot putt. It was
Amazing.
insane.
It was a good putt. I don't
in
think it was
overtime.
I don't quite think it was that long, but
It was a huge putt.
No, it said that both men were 25 feet away from the hole.
Oh.
So it was a long putt.
I'm
did
still
it.
Downhill.
Downhill, a little right to left break in it, right in the center of the cup.
It
Drained
was pretty spectacular.
But his partner gave him the perfect line, and he did it. It was great.
he is the putt champ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're in that one.
I am definitely disappointed about the bikini thing. So we tried to look up a clip of Charles Barkley watching this, just in case if we saw Charles throw it in the water, fine, whatever. That's for entertainment for the show. But maybe later he did the bet and just recorded for YouTube. Couldn't find any video of that, but did find some video of Shaq wearing this Speedo running along the beach in a previous Shaq versus. It was definitely the ending of it. And it was amazing, but damn, I really wish that Charles would have also worn it.
It must have been like a callback
Oh yeah.
to that from season one.
I mean, Shaq could have offered to run with them if Barkley was embarrassed, but
Totally. Shaq wants to show off the legs.
oh yeah.
But it,
I
it
mean,
was
when
a,
you got legs like that,
it was a used bikini though. Do you really want to wear Shaq's used bikini on the beach?
Oh, we don't even know. I feel like he's printing them. He
I
has
don't-
a bikini guy,
I
as
don't-
I
I
think
don't-
we
I don't
figured
know.
out.
No,
Like Shaq's bikini mom, I think I have to wrap around me like a toga. It'd be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're both pretty big.
I mean, they can
Right.
wear each other's bikinis for sure.
Right.
Also, if Shaq is going to wear a bikini, it's got to have Barkley in the back.
I like that.
yeah.
I love that.
Let's do some drinking rules.
Okay.
What kind
Okay.
of drinking rules you got for this? Brian, you got one?
Drink every time Shaq smiles at the camera.
Ooh, that's good.
That's good. That's good. Drink every time Shaq wears a ridiculous outfit.
Oh,
Yes. Yes. We didn't even talk about Shaq's amazing looks. Beautiful fits.
He had a great pre-golf outfit that was really good. Harrison, you have a drinking rule?
Drink every time one of the coaches gives Shaq a hot tip. I don't know.
Annabeth, do you have one?
I think it's when Shaq looks at the camera like Jim in The Office. I feel like a lot of times people are talking to Shaq or he's talking to Joey Chestnut. He learns things that are surprising and he'll just look at the camera with a look of horror or awe. That's the time.
Max?
Every time Shaq does a really impressive shot, you gotta get a ping pong ball and do a cool shot into a solo cup.
Ooh.
James?
It's an active drinking rule there. So I'm gonna pick on my pet peeve of the show, which is the negotiations of the handicap. So every handicap, take a drink for every handicap
Ooh.
negotiated,
Or
Turn into a positive.
handicap that you don't agree with.
or yeah, Drink double.
Brian.
Okay.
I got rules for the outcome. So every time Shaq loses, take a shot. Every time Shaq wins, grab a beer, shotgun it, celebrate.
Oh man,
I mean,
sounds
shotgun, like
this is an intense episode.
yeah, this is a 30-minute episode. Brian. You get real drunk. Doing a power hour here.
But
while
look,
you're watching Shaq versus.
we have some idea of the past episodes. This is going to be the one where like you go hard.
This is a hard episode. Let's do. Would this show be better as a Quibi or a TikTok?
I thought it was kind of the perfect size.
I think. I think one competition could be a Quibi for sure.
Yes.
Easily.
Yeah.
Like this is a 22-minute episode. You can easily cut 3 minutes off each one of these.
Yeah.
Especially if you just want to watch like the actual competition and like trim all the fat around like all the announcer stuff, get rid of all that, get rid of all the tee up, the intro, the practicing, whatever.
Ooh, I like
Just
that.
right to it.
I like that.
Competition.
Cut the
Shaq
announcers
verse.
for sure, but the other stuff I think really added some flavor.
Oh, I
feel
agree
like
for
it
the
had
show.
enough
I'm just saying
room
for
to
short
breathe.
form.
But
Sorry,
like,
go ahead.
I feel like a Quibi, you can really get right to it.
How much time are we talking in a Quibi? Like
The
5
Quibi
minutes?
is like in 5 to 8 minutes.
Okay.
Like 8 minute would be like the maximum length of Quibi. And like the maximum length of the TikTok would be 3 minutes. I think it might be a little tight for a TikTok.
They could do the hot dogs for the TikTok.
Yeah. But like, do you really do that whole setup for a 3-minute TikTok? Probably not, you know?
Yeah, I would watch Shaq doing random stuff. Like you don't need to have like the whole training montage. Just have him shove him in something.
Yeah,
Good to
there wasn't any good Rocky level montages in this.
Right.
That's what I needed. That's
even-
what this show's missing.
even when Shaq was training with like Eater X, I thought that Shaq would try some of the hot dog techniques. And no, he's training. Like training for what? You have a competition coming out, motherfucker. Train for this.
He's training for the NBA. He's in the NBA.
Yeah, this is not going to destroy that.
Harrison, very important question. You seem pretty good, like judging this. What's the production schedule on this thing like?
Oh man, I mean, it seemed like the golf part maybe shot over 2 days. They had the kind of practice day, and then they had the tournament day. I think the hot dog thing was shot in 1 day. I think that they met. Shaq walked outside, found about 5 people. They rolling up to that table and ate a bunch of hot dogs.
But do you think how long do you think this whole season took to make?
Oh man, how many episodes? Like 5 episodes?
5 episodes.
Ooh man.
So that's 10, about 8 to 10 competitions.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure if they're able to. They probably didn't schedule them all on back-to-back days, but I mean, made like 2-3 days an episode, maybe. I don't know.
Do you think it's like
Something like
2
that.
weeks?
Yeah, probably
Well,
something.
maybe
like,
some days off.
There's definitely
between.
days off. I mean, because they're traveling to places and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, I would assume.
Like a month.
Okay. Yeah, this is our best. This is our favorite sketch here, where we really try and narrow down the production schedule.
It's just like this doesn't need to be the only thing that Shaq is doing right now. Like Shaq could just be doing this on the weekends or something.
Maybe that's why the cameraman sucks, because they're
that
just
could
like
be.
one of Shaq's buddies is the cameraman. He's just like hanging out around, like, oh, we need a cameraman. Here's the camera.
It's like, oh yeah, Rick, grab that camera.
All right, Annabeth, I think you're good at this one.
Okay.
Who's gonna hook up next?
Oh boy. Whoa. Very tough. The 2 announcers.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I was like, I don't think there is anyone.
It's
but
gotta
you-
be.
You got it. You got it. You
Gotta
nailed it.
be.
I mean, Shaq and Barkley are kind of in love.
I thought there was a lot of sexual tension between Joey Chestnut and the hot dog.
There you go. Let's do. What do you love about this show?
Shaq.
Yes.
Good
Max
answer.
loves Shaq.
Good answer.
Annabeth, what do you love about the show?
I mean, also Shaq. Also, just the speed of seeing these new things. I don't know. I was into it.
Harrison, what do you love about the show?
I mean, I like that you get to see some actual competitions in here in a way that you don't in a lot of other reality shows. Like, you actually get to see some real stuff here.
Yeah, I mean, I like the competitiveness of the show. I think
Yeah.
that they did a good job of setting up a decent competition, and they did a decent job of filming it. They didn't do an amazing job, but they did it was very entertaining to watch that show.
Totally.
I
Brian?
liked the eating contest. They like cut out huge portions of it, but it still felt like you got the whole story.
Like they cut out a ton.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to watch 5 holes in real time. Like cut that shit. I don't need to watch 5 minutes of this competition either.
Yeah, I would say it was a 5-minute competition. We probably saw 2 minutes of it. And that's great.
Yeah, it was good. Brian, what do you love about the show?
Really, the sportsmanship of Shaq. Just that it's purely a fun activity. It is labeled Shaq versus as a competition show, but at the same time, it's just let's highlight everybody's skill and have fun with it. Who cares if he loses?
James, what do you love about the show?
I mean, it's definitely just Shaq having fun. Like that just brings the energy to the show. It's a positive watch from a emotional standpoint of watching Shaq just being fun, competitive.
All right, let's get into our last question. We do a stack ranking system between other reality shows, top, middle, and bottom third. Vote for this show on our poll on Twitter at Who Put This On. Max, what's your rating?
I had a lot of fun with the show. I was very surprised. I thought it moved. I had a smile on my face half the time. Top third, middle of the top. Not the greatest show I've ever seen.
Annabeth, what do you got?
This is a great show. Love Shaq. Love some competitions. Just love the whole vibe of the show. Very positive, very fun. Same as Max, middle of the top.
Harrison, what do you got for me?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a top third show for me as well. I think that there's a little bit of fluff that you could trim out of there and kind of tighten the show up just a little bit, but overall, I think it's great. Love to see Shaq having a good time.
Brian.
I'm putting it at the bottom of the top. I think it was really good, but at the same time, there's not that much content. I could probably burn through it, and I would be more invested in like another show that was just like more engaging. Maybe like this still feels like a background show, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
James, what do you got for me?
So for me, this is gonna go right in the middle. It's good. I will say that my caveat is I would only watch it if somebody else wants to watch it, because I have a big pet peeve, which is the handicap negotiations. It ruins a lot of the competition for me, and I felt like as I've seen, it just feels like there's too much handicapping going on, and I'm like, you're not even playing the thing anymore. Like, I want to see some competition and play it, and like, you have to obviously balance that, like, it being somewhat close, but I feel like too often it's not close, or it just feels so like far from like the reality of what it should be. So like, that's a bit of a notch. But generally speaking, it's still a good time. If you want to, like, if somebody else wants to watch it, like, it's always fun. So like, it's a good watch. It's very middle. I just have that one pet peeve.
Okay, so James, like in this episode, we saw like 2 fairly close competitions. Like the golf tournament came down to a tiebreaker, and the hot dog eating competition was separated by 1 hot dog. Like, do you think that was like a little unfair, or do you think that like
the hot dog competition was a joke because it was not a competition? It was 6 people versus 1. Like, it just felt so out of balance. It's just like, what do we even, like, if Shaq wins, did he really win? Like, what's he winning?
But he still only won by 1.
No. I'm not saying. I'm saying for the TV production, sure, it was close. But what's actually
But,
close?
like,
What are we even
so
playing?
you think that like they could have faked that, and that's totally fair.
I'm not saying they faked it. No, you're
He's
missing the
just
point.
saying that it's not a very good competition.
It's not
Okay.
a balanced
It's not
competition.
competitive.
The
Yeah.
handicap is so skewed that it's just like, what are we even watching? We're watching Shaq and 5 random people go up against Joey Chestnut, regardless of who. Like, the fact that it was close is the more annoying thing. Like, I either want to see Shaq getting blown out, or it's like because he's actually good at something, not because he got lucky and chose some random people or like what have you. That's my gripe. Does that make sense?
And not exactly. Because now I'm like, what do you think the handicap's for then?
No, I don't like the handicap.
Oh,
That's my
okay,
problem
so
with the show.
You generally are against handicaps. Okay.
When
No.
it gets this far, yes.
He's like, give him one extra person.
Right, like, it's
another.
Brian, like, if we're gonna go for a race, but like, you have a 6-mile head start, well, like, who, regardless of who wins, what are we even doing?
No,
But-
that,
Well, I think that's kind of part of the show, though, because like obviously,
Right.
like Shaq has no chance against a competitive eater.
Right.
So like there has to be something, and I think it's like not a serious competition.
That's
Like, I
my
think-
problem
I
with the
think-
show.
Sure, okay.
Like,
But I
I'm
think-
not,
I think
like,
if
again,
you
this
take
is the
it
show.
As like, this is not a serious competition. This is all for fun, which is like how I felt about it.
But
Like,
when
I
you're
feel
Shaq
like I
and
have
Shaq
no
wants
problem.
bragging rights, you only get bragging rights if you actually win at something.
No, I
not some
agree.
BS
I don't
thing.
think he does get bragging rights for this, really. Like, I think it's just like he did it for this show, and it's kind of a fun thing.
I mean,
And that's where, for me, it makes it less like of a thing.
Sure.
like I think that everybody knows the context of the victory or the defeat, and like if Chestnut had beat 6 people, that would have been fucking crazy if he had done that. And like, you know, they're just like, all right, Shaq plus 5 people like barely beat Chestnut, like it's all right, like it's like you know at least what the context of the victory is. It's definitely not like an absolute victory, like over, you know.
And that's all I'm saying. Like, just for me, like that aspect just ruins like a lot of the show appeal to me. So that's all I'm saying.
It would be funny if Shaq goes on that NBA Live tonight. He's like, I am food eating champion. I
Yeah.
beat Joey Chestnut in a competition. Like, he just do it. Like, I agree with Annabeth, and like, it's just for fun. And I can see why you're like, well, it's not all entertaining to watch somebody, you know, half-ass their way to win. Like, if he loses, you know, okay, well, that makes sense.
I mean, like I think for me, what it more is just like it's really showcasing the person that he's competing against and how amazing they are at their sport. It's like it actually takes like having an insane handicap for this even to be close. Like it's more like a showcase for the other person. Like
Totally.
And it like opens it up for Shaq to compete against people like Joey Chestnut, where like he could never actually.
Anyway, so let's get to my rating. I'll agree with you guys. It's top third, but it's not a strong, like, it was very entertaining to watch with a group of people. I don't think I have any desire to watch any other episode of Shaq versus. Like, Shaq and Charles Barkley, if that was their thing, if it was Shaq versus Charles, I might watch that.
That's
like,
a show.
That would be a show I'd
That
watch.
would be fun.
That would be so fun.
Shaq
That
versus
thing-
Chuck in like any kind of sport would be amazing to watch.
Just like do exactly what they did here was like, Shaq, you get Joey Chestnut, and like Charles, you get Kobayashi. Let's go. Let's compete. Let's do it. Like that sounds great. Now, you know, you throw in, I don't know, like Justin Bieber or who the fuck else is competing against. It's just like, I'm not sure how much like Shaq by himself is carrying the show enough. So, anyway, it was still entertaining. I'd give it a watch. Definitely has the right tone and right like emotional like core to it. I think that makes it entertaining. Anyway, that's it for our discussion.
Well, wait, I had a minutia we never got to. There was no minutia segment.
Yeah, well, you didn't bring it up.
Do
It's
it.
not my fault.
I've
Do it.
got one,
Do it.
and I was thinking about it during our ratings.
Do
You can bring it up.
We got to talk about it real fast, so fast. When Shaq is drafting the people for his hot dog team, Joey Chestnut is standing on a balcony watching him, and the camera will sort of pan to him as he stands there
This is
motionless.
great camera work. Great camera.
This
work.
was incredible, and I just had to say it, and that's all.
In that segment, he also lifted somebody up. It was like, we could take a photo as long as you're in my food competition, or like. Then he picked her up. I'm like, oh, okay. It's
Over his head.
Over his head.
Yeah.
That was
Like,
cool.
straight shoulder
I mean-
press over. You'd be so high in the air, like 10 foot in the air. That's
Yeah,
scary.
That's definitely scary.
I bet you she ate more hot dogs because he was so above and beyond.
I'm sure.
Inspiration.
I'm sure she loved Shaq's
Whoa.
hot dog.
That's racist.
All right, let's get to some shout outs. Brian, you have a shout out this week?
I finally finished the Stormlight Archives book 4. Ooh, amazing series. Just if you ever get a chance to read them, go
Fantasy
ham it.
fan. It's good.
Yeah.
James, you got a shout out this week?
I do. It's going to be theme appropriate. It's going to be, if you like this show, you should check out Shaq Life. Imagine this show, all the Shaq energy, but just Shaq, his posse, and Shaq going on his journey to become a career DJ.
Oh.
Season 2 is airing now. I have not started watching it, but season 1 was great.
All right.
There are 3 Shaq reality shows. We watched one. Then there's one like in 2013 that lasted a season, and then there's Shaq Life.
There's also one called Upload with Shaquille
Yeah,
O'Neal.
that's the one. It's surprising you thought that he was in more because we see him occasionally.
I think he's featured or
Like
something.
you associate him with like Cribs
Yeah.
like a lot, and like he's in reality shows, but it's not like his show, you know. Max, you got a shout out this week?
Yeah, I've been watching this new thing called Brian playing Elden Ring.
Ah.
It's It's pretty entertaining.
Annabeth, you got a shout out this week?
I've subscribed to Harrison playing Elden Ring.
Pretty good.
Harrison, do you subscribe to also you playing
Yeah,
Elden
I've been
Ring?
watching myself play Elden Ring also. Also, we just finished the season of Next Level Chef, which I don't know if we're going to do on a future episode, but I have some thoughts about that show.
So last week I said that's the show we were going to do this week, and we audibled. So next week I think that might be the show we watch.
Okay.
That's good. I think
it's on the docket.
I have thoughts in the bank.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good because you've seen the whole season, so you give us some real proper thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
Survivor is back tonight.
What?
Or it'll be out by the time you hear this. So kind of excited to see how what they did this season in terms of gimmicks, if it's any good or not. So I'm excited for that to be back.
Do you think Jeff Probst has calmed down at all? He was like an insane person on the last season after the pandemic.
Probably not, because it's still a pandemic season. I'm sure there's back to back,
Ooh, yeah.
So I don't know if it's a 26-day season or a 39-day season. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I'm excited for that. And if you liked The Boys Diabolical, which is a anthology animated show, is pretty fun. 15 minutes. Anyway, that's it for us this week. You can vote. Tell us what you thought about the show on Twitter at Who Put This On. We'll have a poll. You can find us on Facebook.com/Who Put This On. You can find us on TikTok at Who Put This On Podcast. And you can email us questions, suggestions at whoputthison@gmail.com. And we'll see you guys next time. Chris, I'm gonna jiggle.
Max, and I'm gonna jiggle.
Annabeth, I'm a jiggle.
Harrison, I'm jiggling.
Jiggle, 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 jiggle.
This is James. I think it's my turn to jiggle.